Hi, Ralph Blanchard here.
This is Casey Poma, and welcome to the director commentary of Haunted Dog.
Yeah, this is our first Halloween special
Yes, heard.
under the Cat Productions moniker.
Mantra? I don't know.
Would that be the right
Thing.
word? The Thing.
Here's Father Billiam working out. I do not remember why we thought he should be working out. We just thought it'd be funny.
Yeah, we somehow came up with that idea, and it actually is pretty funny that a priest would have a cut-off shirt and he's working out.
And I like that his audition tape would just be him working out and nothing else.
Right.
Except, exercising this this occurrence that happens
Correct.
at Sarah's apartment.
It's funny because it's for so you think you can preach, but he's just working out, right?
Right.
Like, why would that even have to? What would so you think you can preach even have to? What would that show be like? I was thinking about that.
So you think you could preach? I never
It's just
thought
a guy
about
who's
it.
preaching a whole bunch, I guess.
Maybe preach you can tell if you're in that
Yeah.
community. You can be
Right.
he gave a really great homily. He gave a really bad homily.
Right.
You can analyze
His homily
them.
was really bad this time. He's out, and you vote him out or something.
And you're you're excommunicated.
Right.
And he's out of the contest. So, yeah, that's original artwork on the wall back there.
Correct. Those were both done by Casey, actually.
Those were done by me. They're made completely out of food.
Yes. Soy
Products.
sauce.
Barbecue, cinnamon.
Yes.
A lot of cinnamon.
A lot of cinnamon involved.
As you can see, but they're for sale. So, $1,000 plus. I'll take offers as soon as possible.
Yeah, you should definitely snatch those up before they just become way more valuable and more expensive.
Totally.
Should talk a little bit.
I know we should
here.
totally talk about this.
Do it, and then I'll talk
So,
about it.
okay, the microwave is smoking. Okay, we were trying to figure out how to do a smoke effect for
Right.
the microwave forever, but you can't put a smoke machine in there, plus it's kind of dangerous to put a bunch of shit in there. So what we did ultimately was, what was it? It was glycerin and distilled water being heated by a little candle underneath
that was jerry-rigged together underneath a little sort of aluminum pie tin type thing.
So it's just sitting in there, and the whole entire time we're filming, it's being heated by the flame, so that by the time Ralph opens it, it's full of smoke.
Right.
And
that's a lot easier than trying to cook something for half an hour to make it steam
smoky
everywhere, So it's a simple effect that kind of adds to the whole. It's kind of a cool effect, right?
It's like
something that seems simple was actually more complicated.
It's like a simple effect, but when you looked in the microwave, you saw a pie tin with duct tape,
right.
little clothespins holding up another type pie tin with a candle underneath,
yes.
with stuff inside,
and bike lights.
Oh yeah, the bicycle light was the flashing light inside.
Yes.
So really, it was kind of a circus in the microwave. And it's funny if you go back and watch it, you think the whole entire time Ralph's outside and they're talking, this whole thing is just building up this. See, the thing is, it is vapor.
It's vapor
instead of smoke, and we didn't want to
smoke.
set off anything. And since it was all vapor, then we were totally fine. So this little thing we wanted to do turned out to be immensely complex, which is kind of the whole entire story of Haunted Dog.
Yeah, everything about Haunted Dog was supposed to be way easier than it ended up being. And partially because I think that's just how we work, where we're like, oh, this would be cool, and then, hours later you're wanting to kill yourself because you're filming something that's taking forever to film.
Yeah, because the
idea is just
the work demands more than what you originally planned, and you can make what you originally planned, but your ideas come to you, and you're like, all right, fine. It's like an annoying boss.
Yes.
Being like, here's more work, here's more work.
Keep doing this,
And
right.
you're like, if you want to keep your job and keep the work true to what you had thought of, you have to do that.
Right.
So
Totally. Yep, that's how it is.
Yeah, totally.
A little comment here on Sammy. I thought this whole little sequence here with like her trying to leave is pretty funny. I thought she did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when her bag gets, as you'll see, her bag gets caught.
Gets stuck.
It's just a funny reaction.
Yeah, that was totally real.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. That was perfect.
Hilarious.
That was the best.
Really
scene.
funny. Yeah, she's good.
Note to all people right there. There was a cut right there.
Seamless as hell.
So when we zoom in into Ralph's back and it's all black, like that's like that scene with Sammy, who was excellent, and this footage right here was a completely different day. It was like probably like what, a week later?
Yeah, it was
later?
a week later.
I don't even remember.
And that's sort of that's how a lot of things are cut. A lot of times when there's a lot of things where you'll see something panning over. Something dark, and that's how they cut it, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Because that's the easiest way to do it.
Well, the problem with HOnTed DOG was, like, everything... It was a found footage movie, so everything had to be one take. One seamless take, and that when that involved, like, multiple people, it got, as we said, more complicated.
Right.
So
and, like, for example, here we have to have special effects... You know, hot dog in the background,
right?
And then this is all you're trying not to cut, so that it kind of makes it more.
We'll tell them that we have a puppeteer under the the table right now, who's just been hiding under there, and then she will, like all these camera moves might seem like we're like filming certain things, but actually we're just moving the camera away from when someone has to move.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure by this time our puppeteer has moved over to the left, and she's actually the one who pulls the Bible away, which has been tied to a string the whole entire time. So really
So I had no Bible in my hands up until the point where you see me with the Bible. I'm actually grabbing it off the counter.
That's right.
And it's almost it's made in such a way that it appears that I actually just had it the whole time.
Yeah, we framed it that way. See, like everything was kind of like a huge elaborate setup. The entire scene. And we just had to trick you into thinking that we were just filming it.
Yeah. That last sequence, I think we did a bunch of
like
times.
5 or 6 times.
Because in order to get it perfectly, you got to have the wiener there. You want to not, and by wiener I mean hot dog. You want to have the hot dog there.
Wow.
You don't want to see Carly under the table.
No.
Who is the puppeteer?
The puppeteer.
You know,
she's the puppeteer, and she pulls the Bible, and then she. Totally operated the whatchamacallit, the broom.
The broom
that had another wiener attached to it. We had like 3 wieners.
Attached
attached
to it.
There
was a stunt wiener, a puppet wiener.
Yeah.
You know, it was...
That throws it at Ralph later.
Correct. Yeah.
And then when I go running after you, because I was the cameraman, I go running after you. She kind of has to hide when you like dive onto the couch or whatever.
Right. There's actually it's not very noticeable, but there is a cut in that whole sequence. Do you remember that? There's a cut.
Oh, there is.
There's a really kind of, I mean, if you know where it is, you'll notice it. But if not, it's a pretty good cut.
Oh, I remember. Should we tell them?
Sure, yeah. This is a commentary. This is where you tell everything.
Right, okay. It's, I'm
just going to
see, the problem with scenes being, or sequences being one take is that you kind of have to choose one whole entire take over other ones. And the thing is with editing, normally you can say like, oh, this line was good from take 3, but this line was good from take 5, so we'll cut back to Ralph for a second, and then like it covers up the cut, and we can use whatever section we want. But when it's all one seamless take, you have one to choose from. But the thing is, certain aspects of different ones will be good. So we were like desperate to mix the ending of one take with the beginning of another one, and we found it in the part where the Bible gets like. The Bible shoots off to the left, and then I shoot back up at the camera, and the flashlight kind of does this weird little twitch thing, and you can sort of notice it if you know it.
Right. I always notice it, but I still, even though I know it's there, I feel like it's a pretty smooth cut because, you know, it's a shaky camera type scenario.
Right.
And this is the only way you can get away with, like, a cut a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in like a one take
scenario.
Well, like
thank God it was like dark and it was just like
dark.
a flashlight and like nobody was in the scene, so like it didn't matter. But I forgot that there was a cut in there, and we masked it pretty well. I thought.
Yeah,
so.
I thought you did a good job with that.
Yeah.
Which helped us use the second part of the take that we liked more.
Right, because the first part was, I don't know, the part that went with the one that we chose for the beginning parts, I don't know, just wasn't as good.
Right. So that was that for that, and then we should talk briefly about the phone scene.
Sure. Because
that required a lot of sort of choreographing when the timing of everything. The tricky thing is with like something like that is you want it to be funny, so it's got to have sort of this rhythm that's faster, which we had to do a couple times so that we could finally get that perfect. Which I think, okay, it's not perfect, obviously, but it's like it's at a point where it's really fast, and I'm reaching for all these different phones, and it's everybody's response fits perfectly while I'm listening to them.
Right, exactly.
When I did that originally, it was actually Casey saying the lines that all the phone calls that you hear are actually being said by Casey originally. So it was actually, I don't know, I felt like it should have been harder, but everybody, we called a bunch of our friends to say a lot of the lines that you hear. Everything on the phone was like our friends, there's Tyler, there's Erica, there's Nick.
Right.
I think that was it, right?
Was it.
The three of them. And somehow we got them to pretty much say it with the exact timing that Casey had originally said it, so that my reaction seemed appropriate.
My favorite part is that we didn't even have to, we didn't take a recording of their voice and then modify it to sound like it was on a phone. We just, straight up recorded it off my speakerphone.
Right. With an H4 and just recorded it off the speakerphone.
It sounded fine. And
sounds perfect. There was no need to do anything, which was a huge time saver.
So I thought that was a nice way to put our distant buddies in our movie, because they're all spread out throughout California and everything.
And they did a good job. They're really funny in it.
I think that's everyone's favorite scene too.
It is, yeah. Even my mom's favorite scene.
Really?
Yeah.
Out of all the crazy effects and everything else, you're just sitting in a room with a bunch of props. That's that's kind of how it works, but that's all right.
That's what happens sometimes.
I wanted to bring up part of the prayer that you say.
Oh, right.
In the first scene when you're exercising the microwave. And I don't know, we wrote this prayer, right?
Yes.
We wrote this prayer. Just kind of whatever generic prayer you see in whatever missal and mass, whatever, get out of here, oh, the Lord is the shepherd, or whatever. And then,
I think it was also a play sort of on what you see in most exorcism movies, which is this supposed prayer where the priest is like, out of here, ye demon, kind of thing.
Right, what's that line? I expel you, or whatever. That one, the power of Christ compels you, that sort of thing. Then we wrote something similar to that, but then we translated it into Latin with Google Translator. And we also translated... Which I'm sure was
super accurate.
Which is totally not accurate at all. Especially the Latin one, probably.
Yeah, I'm sure it's
but we didn't know anyone who spoke Latin, and probably no priest who did speak Latin would want to translate something like that.
And anybody who does would, I think, be a little forgiving, because it's a forgotten language.
I don't know, really...
Well, it's not forgotten. It's not used language.
Not widely spoken anymore. At least in its original form. But we even translated hot dog, just literally hot dog, and that was Calidus Conum or something.
Calidus Conum.
And then... So he's actually saying a prayer which makes sense, and then microunda, in Spanish, microwave is what? Microondas?
Microonda. Yeah.
Microonda,
I think.
Microonda, which means microwave, exactly. So when he's saying microonda, he's actually saying
That's very close to the Spanish version.
Exercise the microwave.
Mm-hmm.
So Father Billiam is legitimately exercising the microwave. See, this is where we're talking about the extra work comes in.
That nobody would give a crap about.
I know. You're like, oh, Father Billiam comes in, exercises the microwave. Oh, well, let's have him do...
Well, we gotta have him say it in Latin.
Yeah, a Latin prayer.
That'll be easy for me to remember.
With a bunch of steam and lights.
One of the things that was hard for me was, first of all, doing an Irish accent because I'm American and I don't know how to do an Irish accent, you know. But on top of that, you're trying to do Latin in an Irish accent. I mean, it was very difficult, and I think it turned out okay. But it was like, okay, I'm trying to concentrate on remembering what I'm trying to say in the prayer, but also trying to do my stupid Irish accent. It was a pain in the butt.
So, and this is why, as to why Father Billiam's Irish, I have no clue. You just like said it one day, and then we're like, yeah, it'd be funny. For some reason,
I think when you picture a typical Catholic priest,
okay, that's true.
You're thinking he's Irish because a lot of them are, you know, and a lot of the ones that I grew up with were Irish. Mm-hmm. That's where it came from.
Okay,
but it would have been way easier if he was American.
No shit, right?
Yeah,
but I mean, it's like you have that scene, that one scene, Ralph's doing an Irish accent. There's like glycerin burning while he's doing the scene. He opens it. There's like a bike light flash. There's glycerin burning and a bike light just flashing in the microwave the entire time.
Right.
And then he like opens it, and then I'm filming him and I'm zooming in and out. Carly's behind me with a strobe light, and she's constantly escalating the rapidity of the flashes.
Right, that you see outside. Right.
And isn't she even turned off the lights?
She turned, yeah.
That were just on. So really, I mean, this is like, you know, I don't know, like a stage production or something with the amount of things like there's always something happening behind us or around us or just like right outside the frame of the camera.
Yeah. It was really good practice.
It's kind of like the solar system, you know, like everything's moving at the same time. Seriously.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it feels like.
Especially so when you only have, you know, 4 people on set. You know, there's Sammy doing her thing, you know, that she has to do, and then Casey had to be filming the whole time, so you can't really concentrate on like escalating the flickering of a strobe light, you know. And then I'm doing my own thing, so it was like, it's cool how it worked out.
I mean, you realize how many hands you have when you have stuff to do, and you're like, oh man, I really only have 2 hands.
Yeah, you can't. You can't do as much as you want as you think you can.
I would do it because like we've done shoots before where we like filmed and held the boom at the same time, while holding the camera, which is fine, or while acting, holding the boom on ourselves, which is all right. But I mean, like, if it's better to not do that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's why a lot of crews or film sets have, or any type of set has a lot of people.
Multiple people, that's right. I mean, the brain really only has so much bandwidth.
Yeah.
To do so much.
I don't know. When we had the we had my HD camera.
Oh, that was it.
By the time we were planning on shooting this, but we were like, wait, you know, this is supposed to be happening in 2005. I don't think Father Billiam's gonna have an HD camera.
Well, no. Too. When I thought,
or we didn't have it.
No,
yet.
we didn't have the camera yet.
We didn't have it yet. That's what it was.
This was actually going to be like a narrative sort of project.
Yes, you're right.
But Ralph hadn't obtained his HD camera yet, so all we had was an old SD camera and no way to get the footage onto a computer, or my like photo camera from like 2006. And I said, well, this is the only camera we have, since the footage is going to be bad and no one's going to watch bad footage in a narrative, let's just make it a found footage project.
Yeah, it was out of necessity. And we were like, of course, also Father Billiam in 2005 would totally use a crappy camera.
Of course.
And that's that's what I was going with before.
Yeah, so completely out of necessity, the entire format of the video changed from being a narrative to a found footage project. So, that's...
And it's funny how popular found footage horror movies are now,
That's true.
We totally started it.
That's right. Yeah.
We started the movement.
Blair Witch Who? What?
What was the budget of this video?
Well, all my glycerin tests probably cost like $60 because I had to buy so much
right. But
glycerin.
Now we know how to make a steaming microwave. Or steaming anything.
I do know how to do that.
Yeah, I think most of the budget was actually spent on that,
On that. Well, the thing is, I couldn't find liquid glycerin for a long time.
Right.
So I kept having to buy these. What are those called? Glycerin enemas.
Enemas.
Right? So I kept having to buy these.
I don't even want to know what those are for. I don't even understand.
I don't either. They're these little kind of like candy corn shaped things.
They're supposed to go in your butt, I guess.
Well,
apparently.
duh.
But why?
I don't know.
What's glycerin for?
Dude, I have no idea.
I mean, just kidding. I know exactly what it's for.
So I would melt them.
I don't.
And then... You're totally lying. So I'd melt them, and like burn it, and it wouldn't do anything.
Right.
So then I would have to go to... Well, I felt like I had to go to different stores and get different enema... these little different enema packages, because if I bought more and more, because there's like 20 in one package, so if I bought one and then like the couple days later I buy another one, it's like, what were you doing?
The clerk is like, this guy really needs glycerin enemas.
Needs 20
big
of them.
time. He's using multiples.
So yeah, that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But eventually I found liquid glycerin, and we still have like a huge jar of it, so we got steam for a long time.
I want to say it was maybe $100
for the whole movie.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, sure, 100.
Actually, no, it might have been more because we bought a lot of sausages, some of which we ate.
Yes.
I don't know. It's hard to calculate when some of it's not officially being used in the movie, and you're just like, well, I'm buying a sausage, but I'm also eating it because this is dinner. Mm-hmm. So is it really part of the budget,
I think that I ate the one that you drew out of the microwave.
Yes. The super cooked one?
The super cooked one that was, sitting in the microwave full of, like, glycerin. Which is probably bad that I ate it, but, whatever.
Casey's no stranger to eating dangerous foods.
Nope.
For himself.
Nope. Doesn't matter. I'll live.
Yeah, the budget was probably actually more, but I don't remember. Anyway, it was still cheap. Is that the point? Is that the point I was trying to make?
I don't know. The budget was so low that we don't even remember.
Yeah.
That's like how low it was. It's like we didn't even have to drop anything about it. We're just like, came out of our pocket, $5 here, $10 here, $15 there, whatever. Oops.
But that's the cool thing about making movies, Mm-hmm. A lot of times it doesn't really take that much. You're just doing whatever you feel like doing and putting the money wherever it happens.
Here's the thing. You can put a lot of money into a movie, but the thing is you don't have to. Mm-hmm. And if you just make a video with 4 people in your apartment and you just have a little bit of props and stuff, you can make it like a special effects extravaganza that costs a lot of money, but a lot of movies you don't have to. You just film.
And I think HOnTed DOG was one of those first... It was not one of the first, but it was one of those projects in a line of other projects that sort of came along where we were like, oh, let's just do something sort of for fun. Oh, well, there were parts where we were like obsessing over like the editing or like the sound or whatever, but at the same time it was like we'd done other stuff and we're like, let's just do something that's like sort of simple, even though it ended up not being simple. But
here's the thing: they always start out simple and then they just explode.
But in the end, it was still really fun. The whole when you're watching that scene where the last part, where the whole like last exorcism thing. When I watched that, I'm like, man, that was like cool. That was fun to do. Planning that out, having the Bible slip away, having the hot dog on like horrible strings come towards me. It looks cool, kind of. It's cheesy, but it looks cool, and it was fun. So
it was fun.
At the end of the day, that was like the coolest part. It was like that we made something that was very, very silly, but it was fun, and that's all that matters.
Extremely silly.
Okay, let's go with like extraordinarily, exaggeratedly silly and stupid.
But
it's a stupid concept, but God, it was fun,
I agree.
Yeah. Good.
I don't know. How did the idea even come about? Because I think we're always making up fake movie titles.
Oh, right.
Kind of like pun titles. We're like, oh, like, this would be funny to, like, any word that, like, revolves into a word around, like, murder or death or something. We're like, ooh, that'd be, like, a funny movie or a funny video. And I think we thought of HOnTed DOG. Just thinking, like, oh, that'd be the worst title ever for a movie. Yeah. That'd be the dumbest thing ever. And usually, when we say that's the dumbest thing ever, that's usually the idea that we go with. I mean, it totally is. I mean, we have good ideas, but then we have ones that we're just like, oh, man, they make us groan.
I think we just really like stupid ideas.
I think so, too.
To a certain extent. There's even a point where I remember we were talking, to friends and stuff, and they were suggesting, well, why don't you just make it Haunt Dog, because it's closer to hot dog. And we were like, no, it needs to be this horrible version of the name. It needs to be a bad pun.
I felt
Haunted
like
dog.
It needed to be in your face.
In your
terrible.
Face, bad. Instead of Haunt Dog, which is actually probably a more clever.
It's pretty clever.
It's a better pun. It works way better.
Mm-hmm.
I feel we were like, no, screw that.
I feel like Haunted Dog is like a pun person who's like the equivalent of a skateboarder who like doesn't know to ollie yet.
Yes.
But like pretends to.
Yeah. That's a really good example.
So it just had to be like really bad. And then we made it. So any other terrible suggestions you can give to us? If it makes us facepalm, we might just shoot it.
We might just
spend a bunch of time on it.
Yeah. Way more time than we needed to spend on it.
Exactly.
We totally did. Yeah. So yeah, I guess that's all I can think of for now.
That's kind of all I have to say about Haunted Dog as well.
Not that I'm gonna do more later. I don't know. I said for now.
For now,
this is what I have. I'm gonna come back in 5 minutes.
This is only part 1.
Right.
Of the Haunted Dog commentary.
We've already gone way past like 3 times. I think the length of Haunted Dog.
Film. I know.
Well, who knows? I don't know. I could just look at how long we've been recording, but I'm not going to. So whatever.
Me either.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, hope you enjoyed this insight into our video, and we're
gonna have more.
Yes.
Videos for you to watch.
I think that'll be great.
Yeah.
And more commentaries to listen to.
If you have any questions, just let us know.
No one has any questions.
Nobody has any. Nobody's even listened this far into the video.
If you have, let us know, and we'll like give you a star.
You'll get a prize if you've listened this far into the video.
And the prize might just be a shout out. Or something.
Yeah, I don't want to commit to a really expensive prize, okay?
Don't.
I just told you that we spent $60 on enema glycerin, okay?
Yeah,
we're not made of money.
I did, so...
Yes.
That's what we'll get you.
Yeah, you can have...
You can have an enema, a glycerin cube, or whatever. Whatever the hell that was.
If we have something else that we can give you, we'll give you that.
Right.
But for the most part, you're just going to have something that you can shove up your butt. So thanks for joining us for the Haunted Dog commentary.
There's a whole dead body in there. Is this my present?
Look, I hit a guy, okay?
That's so cool.
I think it's Commando. Starring old Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Just again?
Again. Just remake the exact same movie with all the same people.
His little kid is like now a man in the movie?
Well, it's Alyssa Milano.
Oh, that's a girl.